To me, that means that I've done something opening doors for the rest of you ladies to come on. That's a big deal. There are a lot of people that did that for us before me. A lot of women. A lot of minorities. The opportunities in this field for women are very great, and for all minorities as well as the majority. You have an advantage because there are laws that dictate that companies need to hire a certain number of minorities to fill these positions. Where you're in luck is the women and minorities doing these jobs are so few. You could go get a job pretty much anywhere well. Something to consider when you're looking at a career for job security. Now, I work for my husband. We have a little shop in the back of the house. We set our own hours, we run our own business, we do our own paperwork, we share all of our responsibilities. He taught me how to weld. That's how I came into this. I didn't choose welding, it chose me. When I graduated, Earl High School, yeah, Earl, I'm from Earl. In 1987, I finished a year early, I was 16. It is possible to do that if you check into the requirements. They've changed in the last few years. But I took some college courses while I was in high school because I wanted to quit. I hated school, didn't like it at all. Stuck it out. My mom found a way for me to take classes through University of Arkansas and get high school credit so I could get out of there a year early. Then I went to what is called VOTEC at that time. Does anybody know what a VOTEC school is? Vocational Technical? Okay. We have community colleges here. Do you know what it is?
Yes, ma'am.
Tell us an idea what VOTEC is.
Like the shop and you can do agriculture in there.
That's right. It's usually a 2-year course. The vocational technical schools, there was Delta VOTEC in Marktree, and there was Mid-South VOTEC in West Memphis, which has grown into Mid-South Community College. I went to VOTEC for a secretarial certificate back in 1989. That was my career of choice, and I did that for 13 years, and I was able to support my family and have a good career doing that. When I was 30 and with 3 children, I decided I wanted to go back to college. So I went to Mid-South Community College, where I got my associate's degree in general education. That allowed my 2 years of college to be knocked out at a minimal cost. I would encourage you, if you're going to go to college, go to Mid-South or a similar community college first. It's cheaper, it's closer to home. It helps you ease into the full college experience instead of the 4-year university right off the bat. That's not for everybody. I could not have graduated from ASU if I had not done it that way. It eased me into going back to college. It's a better transition for me, at least. At Arkansas State University, I graduated with 2 degrees, criminology and sociology. I worked as a preschool teacher. I taught college. I worked at community corrections, which is probation and parole here in West Memphis. Most of my jobs were in a classroom or in an office. I loved every one of them. I took something great away from one of them, from every one of them. What that college experience brought to welding for me was something called critical thinking skills. Does anybody know what that is? Critical thinking skills. You're going to hear about it when you get closer to college. It's how you learn to solve problems, how you learn to analyze things, figure out how things work, make things better, okay? I wouldn't trade my college experience for anything. I do use some of that information, especially, yes, math and science. We use a lot of math in welding because we build things. You don't have to be great at it, but you need to know some basic things about math. I would encourage you to take all the math classes you can, some science classes, if you're interested in this as a career. When you go to school for welding, it's about a 2-year program. You do have to learn the English and the math and all the basic courses just like you would for anything else. But then you also get the side with the experience where you actually learn how to weld. I didn't go to school for this. I got lucky. My husband's a welder, and when I moved to Lee County in January, while I was looking for a job, he had me working in the shop with him. He taught me how to weld in March with a wire welder. It's a device that has a trigger, kind of like a hot glue gun. You know what that is? When you glue things together with a hot glue gun. It's the same thing with metal. You're just using a heated coil wire that comes out of a trigger. It's really easy to do. Anybody in this room could learn it that quick. Wire welders in factories make about $25 to $40 an hour. That's not bad. I bet that's better than your teacher. I bet that's better than Mr. Washington. It's not bad money. You go to school for 2 years instead of 4. It's a lot cheaper than college. And you come out a lot of times making a lot better money. I could go back to criminology or sociology or teaching. I love what I do. I absolutely love it. April, I started wire welding. In March, I started what we call stick or rod welding, which is MIG welding or arc welding. I work with very heavy steel. And how I learned was we had two very large pipes we were putting together for culverts for farmers. And we set them up on rollers using a tractor. Do drive the tractor, the forklift. That's another thing I've learned. It's one of the best things about the job is learning how to drive all this stuff I work on. And my husband said, here's a rod. Here's how you strike it. It's called striking an arc. And he said, weld it up. But the catch is you cannot roll the pipe. You can't just stand here and weld like this all day. I had to get on my back, upside down, sideways, vertical, everything. Hot metal drips down, you have to stay out of the way. It is not easy to do. Gravity is not your friend when you weld, at all. It took me 2 weeks to go around that pipe 3 times. But now, I can weld anything. That was probably more experience than I would have gotten in a year in school. For you guys, it's not likely that you're all going to go out and marry a welder and be able to work in the backyard. So you're going to have to go to school. It is worth the investment, okay? This is some of the stuff I work with. And I brought it in this basket for you big guys. This is what I carry around all day long. These are test plates, okay? When you work to be certified welder, you take a test for the state of Arkansas. They give you these test plates that are made of steel. And you have to weld them together upside down like this, okay? So those are my welded test plates. And you also have to weld them up vertically, like this, sitting up. And as I said, gravity is not your friend. You've got to have your eyeballs over here and over here, or you have steaming hot metal driven on your face. This is a hinge that I built yesterday. Just figuring things out to build. I don't have a hammer, so it's not going to come unhinged. And rings that we use for various things with a machine that my husband invented that takes these steel rods that are about as long as this room.
I need Micaiah Dyer sent to the office for checkout.
Okay. And it coils the steel for you so you don't have to heat it or bend it by hand. Now, if you guys want to pass this around, like I said, I'm not a big person. But this is what I carry all day, so just pass it around and pick it up. You can touch the stuff. It is a little bit dirty. You'll have to wash your hands after. The way that we keep converting ourselves, we use a lot of... We use a lot of safety equipment. Okay, this is my hood. I'm going to pass this around too. I don't have a really cute hood, so you can see I get bored and I draw on my hood myself. If you look on the far left side, there will be a button on the inside that says reset. So if you're passing around, if you want to press the reset button and look inside, you'll see it flash. That's how it turns on. It has adjustments to make it darker or lighter so that I can see when I weld, but it does cover the whole face. The reason being, it's not just to protect me from sparks. I have caught on fire a few times. It happens. No matter what you're doing or how protected you are, you're going to catch on fire a little bit. Yes?
Does that thing keep from going blind?
Yes, it does. That's what I was about to get to. It's not the heat so much or the sparks as it is the light. The light coming off a welder when you're running a rod is brighter than the sun. You have to be covered everywhere. I wear a bandana like the beard over my face. I have this thing on. If I didn't have the shoes on my whole face, I would look like a severe sunburn in a matter of minutes. So I can't weld in short sleeves, short pants. We wear a lot of cotton, a lot of wool. Wool especially is fire resistant, which means we get hot and sweaty when we work. We work on farm equipment mostly, so we're out in the field. Okay. This adjustment strap right here. Set up here like this. Tighten to adjust, and then it just pulls down. You can check it out if you want. That's fine. We wear. Different types of gloves. These are short welding gloves. I'm not fond of them. This is what I was wearing when I got a 6-inch flame on my arm about that high. The good news is they're fire resistant, so I was able to just get the fire out with this. Yeah. Pass around. This stuff is dirty. I didn't bring you clean things because you need to know this is, it can get pretty filthy. These are gauntlets. They come up to the shoulder. This is what I usually wear. These are cutting gloves. That's what you do for welding about as well. But when I cut these torch, this is what I use.
He opened it. Yeah, I didn't know you can do that. How you open it? She just said she won't be able to open it.
And I'm testing these out for a company by the name of Welder to see how well they work. They come right up the elbow. These are cutting goggles. When I cut things with a torch, this is what I use to protect my eyes. The light coming off the cutting torch is not nearly as bright as the welder, but you still have to protect your eyes from the light. Those look good on you. This is natural and black.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Just listen to the lip. I wanted a pink hood. I can't find one anywhere on the internet, so I just decorate my own. As far as the actual technique of welding, this is what you use. This is attached to the welder. I could not bring the welder. The machine is about as big as this cart. Okay? Not only that, my husband is at the shop and he's working with the welder and on the welding truck. This hooks to a welder that runs off of something energy about like a car battery, but it has a ton of horsepower behind it that runs a generator that causes the electricity that causes these rods to spark. Well, I can't do it without the welder. I'm just going to give you an idea. The rod goes in like this, you twist it, it stays in, and when you have your metal down, all you have to do is touch a piece of metal and it will start a fire down here at the very end. This stuff melts into the seam where you're welding and joins the two pieces of metal together, making everything all one piece of metal. Those test plates, the things that are welded together in there, if you look at them, you can't tell where one piece started and another piece began. When you do it right, you pass your certification, they x-ray it. There cannot be any bubbles. There can't be any void or anything that's going to compromise the steel. The reason being is we work on, well, my husband has worked on every bridge between Memphis Bridge and Little Rock. If you take I-40 from Memphis to the Little Rock, every bridge, every overpass, he's got his name on. He worked on every one of them. You have to be certified every 6 months to work on safe jobs. We also work on bulldozers, backhoes, track hoes, dirt moving equipment, cranes, things of that nature. You have to be certified to work on those. And it has to be done about every 6 months. That's one of those things that I passed the test and I didn't go to school for, but I probably would have been more confident going into that test if I'd had the formal education. When you look at the welding rods, you notice there are different numbers on the end. That's part of the science. Some of these, like the pink ones, are hard surface rods. They have titanium, stainless steel, other alloys in them. The numbers tell us what they are and what they're used for. And there are different sizes. You need to, when you start working with rods, you'll use 1/8" rods, 5/32, 3/32. And it took me a long time to just look at them and know which was which. Because you can't get down there and measure the stuff. But that's my welding pouch. Everything that we work with usually is made with leather because it is fire resistant and heat resistant. Even though the gloves are fire resistant, if I'm welding for an hour straight, that glove gets hot. So I change hands. You become very ambidextrous when you're a welder. You know what ambidextrous means?
Both hands.
Both hands, that's right. Okay. Sometimes you can't get into a spot on a combine or a tractor or something like that with right hand. You have to go left-handed. Tools that we use. I brought a couple of things. These are pneumatic tools. What is pneumatic? What does pneumatic use? Okay. Pneumatic. P-N-E-U-M-A. That's always air. Think about pneumonia. It has to do with air. Pneumatic tools you run off air hoses. This is a grinder. It's not my best one. It is broken. I brought y'all a broken one, so if you break it, it's okay. But try not to. And you trigger down. These are not. I brought these so you can see, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not a big person, but I use these all day long. You have to hold this up for half an hour to an hour at a time. It starts to wear on you. You learn how to position yourself so that you can change hands easily and you don't wear yourself out and you don't hurt yourself. When we use the pneumatic tools, we always use safety eyewear. Two different kinds of safety glasses. These I use for regular use. The grinder uses sparks, throws sparks everywhere just to protect my eyes. These I use when I'm working next to my husband and he's welding. If you notice the sides of them are blacked out, that's so I don't catch the light from his welder from the side. Because while he's welding and I'm working on something else, his light could damage my eyes. And they're a little bit darker than regular safety glasses. Another pneumatic tool is your chipper. This thing looks like a big screwdriver. When you weld and you run a seam, some of the alloy stays on top. It's called slag, and you have to get it off. If you don't get it off, it makes bubbles and weak spots in your welding, and you don't pass test. So this thing just beats it to death, beats all that stuff off. Now, have you all had in science classes simple machines? Pulleys, levers, wedges, that kind of thing? We use all of that stuff to keep from hurting ourselves. We work with some really heavy equipment and heavy metals. So I don't generally lift a lot of things if I don't have to. We have a system of pulleys in the shop that are, some are electric and some are used by hand, to lift some of these sheets of steel that are about the size of this table that weigh about 500 pounds. Anything we can do to keep from hurting ourselves, whether pulling out your back. Nobody's trying to prove how strong they are.
Close enough.
It's better to be smart than strong, especially if you're my size and you do this stuff. Talk about the measurements and things we use. This is a square. And you can see by the numbers and everything that you use to measure.
This is sharp.
It's the same thing as like a carpenter square. That's exactly what it is. We use the same stuff. And tape measure. What we use this a lot of times for, guys had geometry, some geometry. You figure out the sides of triangles, that kind of thing. Does anybody know the Pythagorean theorem?
Yes.
What is it? Thank you, ladies. Did you hear that? What is the Pythagorean theorem again?
A squared plus B squared equals C squared.
I use that theorem more than anything. I thought when I was in school, I'm never going to use this stuff. Why do I need to know this? I'm never going to use it in my life. I use it every day now. Every time we have to build something that's at an angle, and I have a height and I have a length, I have to find that width. That's what you use. Whatever my A squared is, which is one leg, plus the B squared over here will tell me what I need over here, what size steel I need to order, what size plate I need to cut out, for a lot of different things. And of course, since I graduated Earl, I have a bulldog tape measure. Just some other tools. It's a chipping hammer. If I'm in a spot where I can't get that pneumatic chipper, I have to do it by hand. Chipping hammer. I'll sling this thing for a half hour at a time. And of course, regular hammer and wedge. Wedge is one of the things we use instead of actually physically trying to pull something apart. It's a whole lot easier to use a wedge, just beat it out there. Again, keep from hurting ourselves. There's no sense in putting so much force into something that you're going to cause yourself pain, especially for an old lady like me. You know, when you start creaking and cracking at my age, you want to take it as easy as you can.
Keep that hammer on me.
We also have a power drill bit. Another simple machine. That's a screw. That's all it is. Any drill you look at is just a screw. If I can't use something like a drill to drill out a hole, this is an acetylene torch. It has 2 lines that hook up to a tank. This is some of the science too. One tank is pure oxygen. In fact, if I get tired in the middle of the day, 'cause I'm an old lady and I don't have my nap, turn on the oxygen, just really, like old people used to do with the oxygen tank. I'll take a little bit of oxygen and wake me up a little bit. The gas is another thing. It's a combination of acetylene, butane, and hydrogen. So you have to be really careful with the tanks and know how to handle them properly. You make sure when you're on the welding truck they're secure. And there are smaller versions of welding machines. If you're wearing a piece of jewelry right now, chances are it was welded with what's called a TIG welder. And also in your computer, the motherboard of your computer, those components you put together with a welder, those are smaller handheld welders that usually use a piece of wire separately that you put together. That's also welding. You don't have to use the heavy steel equipment. The rest of this junk is stuff that I managed junk. It's not to carry in my pocket, just smart.
Look at this flashlight.
I want my flashlight back. Electrical tape, that comes in handy. This is limestone. This we use to mark the steel when we get ready to cut. Utility knife, no blade in it. This is probably the most disgusting part of the job. This is Vaseline. I put it on my lips. It goes in my nose. It's a protect. It's gross.
He said
But
that he was in
you don't want to put this on your lips. It's been in my nose. But it helps keep the smoke and those metal alloys and those things, keep them from going into your lungs. Your nose acts as a filter.
You don't want that, right?
So I'd rather have it stuck in my nose in the Vaseline than have it down in my lungs.
Yeah.
Now, I've told you a little bit about welders who make in factories. Pipeline welders, those guys who go to Alaska, work with gas companies and that kind of thing.
How much stuff you got?
We're talking about
Hey,
$1 a
pass the
minute.
flashlight.
I can get it.
$1 a minute. Everybody hear that?
Yes, ma'am.
Pipeline welders, $1 a minute.
So that's why I'm saying if they work 8 hours, they got a lot of money coming their way at the end of the week.
That's right.
That's $6 an
I
hour.
would have to take a pay cut to pay $1 a minute.
$1 out.
I get paid, no, $60 an hour is what I charge my services if I never touch the welder. That's if I'm drilling holes for a piece of equipment, if I'm bending steel on one of the 2 presses that my husband invented and built, coiling steel for those rings. That's $60 an hour if I never touch a welder. I usually charge $100 an hour in the shop if I'm welding. If the truck leaves the driveway, we charge $150 an hour a piece from the time we pull out of the driveway until the time we get home. The least amount of money that I have made in a day was $400. I worked 4 hours and took the rest of the day off. In a day. The most I made paid for this ring. We got married in August. I started welding rod welding around May. We started talking about getting married. We were looking at rings, and we talked about what to spend on a ring. He said, okay, when you make that much in a day, we'll go get you a ring. I started this in May, y'all. In July, I made $3,750 in one day. That was a 10-hour day, welding for 2 hours at a time. We take breaks, it's hot. You have to take care of yourself, cool off, that kind of thing. It's hot when you're welding. But actual work time was probably about 8 hours. And all it was putting up braces for a retaining wall on the Mississippi River to protect somebody's big nice mansion they had just built. And I welded rods from braces from about up there to about down here. There were about 20 of them. I did it all day long. $7,500 was that job. Our out-of-pocket expense for that job was about $600 for the day.
Wow.
That's not every day, but that's not too shabby for a day's work.
No.
That allows us time as business owners to go out and have fun. After I talk to you guys today, we're going to the mountains in Arkansas for a couple of days because we can. We have a couple of jet skis, 4 vehicles, a welding truck, 2 4-wheelers, a shop, a house, a guest house.
I got a big
No, not a huge house. We don't need a big house. It's just 2 of us.
Damn.
I'll tell you what, when you get out of high school, if you think this is something you want to do, we're over at near Mariana. Y'all know where that is?
Yeah.
And it's Parker Welding. You come talk to us. My son Cody, who Mr. Washington knows, actually you all might know him. My son Cody Watson is the drum major for the high school band here in West Memphis. He's also your ROTC Cadet of the Year.
I know.
You know him? Okay, Cody worked with us this summer. I taught him how to weld, and he got a 2004 Chevy Silverado paid for it in 1 summer's work.
That's great.
That I'm in today. So
You'll give us a job.
I would show you how to weld. You have to be 18. I would show you how to weld and see if you like it, if it's something you would like to do. And this is when you get older. It's not for everybody. I've always been kind of a tomboy. I like to get dirty. I like to hunt and fish and play ball and things like that. So this is right up my alley. Do you?
I don't like to. You like it?
I like to play ball.
I would have made a really good quarterback. It's one of those gender roles we talked about. Usually girls are the cheerleaders and guys play football. You guys are in a generation that's very fortunate. A lot of that is changing. You're not as held back by as many limitations as I was, or especially my mother before me. A lot of those women, much like African Americans at the same time, the civil rights movement changed a lot of that for us so we could go forward and do things like welding, or girls playing football. There are football players out there that are girls on high school teams all across the country.
Well, they're not here though.
No, not here. Not yet.
It's on the Green County team. It's one in Green County Tech.
Where at?
A girl
Sure,
football
yeah.
team and one in
I would
Raleigh.
be on
I
football
didn't know
team.
that.
They're gonna start playing
It's about
football.
It's about time.
They're gonna start letting
Also breaking gender roles, gentlemen. It used to be that women were the teachers and nurses, and the men were the doctors and lawyers and things like that. Guys, there are great career opportunities for you in the medical fields. Male nurses are in high demand. You don't have to be stuck in what society says that you should or should not be because you're a man or a woman. And if you're a welder, you don't have to be, I don't want to say stuck in West Memphis, but it could give you an opportunity. Underwater welders probably make 3 times as much as I do. And if you want to travel the world and make good money, this is not a bad career at all. Yes, sir.
What is 3 times more than what you make 2 years?
I make $150 an hour top. Okay, that's average, $150 an hour. You tell me what 3 times that is.
450.
There you go. What do you say you do? I'm near Mariana. Do you have any other questions? Anybody? Is there anything on that sheet that you need me to cover?
Actually, anything on the sheet she asked y'all?
What is the starting income for a new person in this field?
About $25 an hour. That is if you're working for someone else.
Look, I'm 10.
The reason he makes so much
About what? You said about what?
That's right, because he owns his own business. But he didn't start out that way. He's been doing this for 40 years. When he started, he made, his first job, I think he made less than $5 an hour. But that was 40 years ago. That was good money, you know.
Wow.
But within 2 years, he had saved enough money to start his own business. Yes, sir.
How much schooling is required for this?
It's usually about 18 months to 2 years.
That's the right question.
So you compare that to to 4 years of college. And now, with so many bachelor degrees out there, y'all, I'm gonna tell you now, the one thing that held me back, I have 2 bachelor's degrees. So does everybody else. If they want a master's degree, then they really don't wanna let you in the door. If you're gonna go to college, you need to go straight for the master's. Go ahead and take your 5 years, it's just one more year. Hang it out, make better money. The only thing that I wish I had done different was that I had become a welder before I went to college. I would have liked to have done it when I was younger and been established and done it a long time and then changed careers. I don't know how much longer, because I'm not ashamed to say I'm 45 years old and I started this as a career. You know, I wasn't young when I started this. So I don't know how long I'll be able to do it, but I do have my college education so that 10, 15 years down the road, if I'm not physically able to do this anymore, I can go back to my college degrees and start another career. Which is great because I get bored after time. I like to do different things. Keep my options open. What other questions do you have on this?
That's everything.